question keeps repeating over and over again inside my mind. Do you still love her after all these years? And though I did not give a reply at the time, the answer sounds again and again in my mind every time I hear the question. Always, I hear myself respond. After all these years. No adult would ever believe the story. Not really, anyway. But it's always been our reality. And now it's mine, and mine alone. I don't remember much about that day. The last thing I heard was her screaming behind a closed door, crying desperately out for help. And then the world went dark around me. Everything became very quiet. She was gone. No one ever spoke of her again, as though she never existed. I didn't dare ask. I could only guess at what they'd done to her. An adult may well believe that some ill will befell an unfortunate small child, but convincing a fully grown adult that two children that young were truly in love, and at that they had been for years, would be all but impossible. Funny enough, their reasons for wanting to keep us apart so desperately were specifically because they did believe it. Guess they weren't actual adults after all. Not really, anyway. No real adult would have such a violent, irreversible reaction to just seeing two children kissing. I no longer remember the actual day that we met. It was all so long ago that I don't recall anything from so far away. I just know that she was there for so long that I don't remember a time before she was around. And the memories that I do have, it just seems like she's always been there. Up until that day, of course. We were both in darkness. Our worlds and our lives consisted of abuse and neglect, and there was nothing outside of that. Nothing but each other. We found each other somehow within the abhorrent darkness that we lived in, and we found love and romance, and we never looked back. We were everything to each other. We understood each other's pain. In a world where no one cared about what either of us were going through, we cared about each other's suffering. Where kindness was lacking in the outside world among the adults and teachers and family members and other children, we found abundant kindness in each other instead. She was all I needed, and I strived to be everything she needed. That was all we were, just two hearts intertwined amidst suffering, keeping each other going. Even now, the thought of her is what gets me through those dark and lonely nights, and it hurts not having her sleeping next to me, but it's also the reason I can keep going. Knowing that the world is more than just suffering, knowing that there's love outside of all the hatred and anger and bitterness that usually surrounds me. Through the years, it was as if she had never left me, as though she was still at my side, calling out for me to touch her, close enough to whisper to me, but too far away to hold. She was like the ghost of a memory haunting my heart and my mind. And over the years, I've forgotten her voice and her face as they become more and more painful to think about. And now all I remember are the times we spent together. But that's all I need. Nothing else matters. All I have now is a box. A small wooden box with some loose items that remind me of her. A ring she gave me when we were little. A skirt she kept forgetting at my house. A shirt we kept borrowing from each other to the point where we didn't know who it even belonged to anymore. The only photo I ever had of her, a lock of hair I asked her to give me, and a random key. We found it and went around everywhere trying to figure out what had opened. We never did find out, but we had a blast and a half trying. It was never time wasted if we were together. One time, I tried to open that box. I felt as if I was about to die. The sorrow was too much. I sealed it and buried it in the closet behind a bunch of old clothes I never wore, and tried to put her voice and her face out of my mind, as well as the box full of aches and pains. But something still pulls me, a longing to see her again. Part of my mind keeps telling me that she's not gone, that she can't be. If she was definitively dead, I could make my peace with it, pay my respects and mourn her, then move on. To this day, I have no earthly way of knowing what happened to her. I dream about her, and there, it's as though she was here all along. The years I spent alone were, in dreams at least, years we spent growing up alongside one another. And at the end of every dream, right before I wake, she says to me, "I'm waiting for you here. You need to come to me soon." I still don't know what that means. She's waiting in the dream, waiting for me somewhere in the real world that I don't know of. I have no idea. I've spent so many nights lying in bed trying to understand what it means. But it's never been more urgent than it is now. A few days ago, someone told me they'd seen her. That someone would later ask me whether I still love this girl after all these years. It turns out that the one friend I've made after all these years is someone she also knew. I should be overjoyed, ecstatic at the idea that I'd get to see her again. And I was so happy and so excited I couldn't sleep that night for being too happy at the thought of finally getting to be with her again. All the heartache would be washed away in an instant if only I could find her and could call her mine. But when I saw her, it was all wrong. She wasn't the same anymore. She wasn't herself. She was like a stranger and we had nothing in common. She had no interest in being with me. She barely remembered anything from all those years ago. I just assumed it was because so much time had passed, but the more I think about it, the more it feels like she is a literal different person. All I can do now is try to love her as she is. The thoughts feel heavy in my heart and my mind, and any other night I would have spent tossing and turning with this feeling, but I already missed a night's sleep and soon it comes to claim me. I see her there, the real her, smiling at me. As I move closer, I see that she seems forlorn. I want to make up for the night I missed and take her by the hand. She smiles at me more earnestly this time, and we run together through the fields of flowers in the warm sun. There is no one else here. We don't need anyone else. We enjoy the warmth, the plants, the beautiful sky, and just gazing into each other's eyes. I feel like it's been much longer than just one night that I haven't seen you. I missed you, I say to her, full well knowing that none of this is real. And yet, the supposed real version of her is in the waking world, ready to disapprove of me and abandon me the moment things get difficult. "You can't trust her," she says, as if she were reading my mind. "What should I do?" I ask her. "The box." "The box?" I say, frowning. "I can't open the box. I'll die. I will die if I open that thing." "I'm waiting for you here. You need to come to me soon." "No, I can't wake up yet." But it's too late. I'm back in the small bed in the old room. It's so cramped. Hard to believe we both used to fit on this thing. I get up and get ready for the day, try to focus on everything that needs to be done. Cooking. Cleaning can wait until tomorrow, but I should start early on the laundry and then I yawn. I'm really tired, and no one is here at the moment. But they could come back at any time and get really angry if I haven't done the things I'm supposed to do. I feel like we got off on the wrong foot yesterday, I hear behind me. This almost gives me a heart attack. I spin around, and she's standing there, dressed in dark clothes. It was so odd yesterday, seeing her in those bright colors. She looks much more like herself now. "The things you were talking about yesterday, I want that. I want that life with you," she says. "Why now all of a sudden? You had no interest yesterday. You were ready to leave and never talk to me again." I thought about it, and everything you said made sense. I want us to be happy together, like before. Like before. Can it really be like all those years ago? Can we really be happy like that again? I want to believe it. She can be there for me and I can carry her through anything she might face in the world. We'll be happy. When I blink, she's in front of me. She pushes me against the frame of the bed and climbs onto my lap. Her face gets close to mine and she says, "I can have anything you want. I just want to make you happy, no matter what." I wrap my arms around her, feeling so relieved. I thought she hated me after all this time, that she'd rejected me. I thought that the person in the world who would always love me now wanted nothing to do with me. I'm so glad, I say through tears. "Don't cry," she says. Her voice sounds a little different, but I don't care right now. I just feel like a small, scared child that needs to be held. "Promise me you'll stay this time. Please don't ever leave me again," I beg her. "Never." My eyes widen. "My love." That's not her voice anymore. That's not even the voice of a human anymore. I push her away from me. Between blurry vision from years of having needed glasses that I never got, and tears staining my eyes at the current moment, I can't see much. All there is in front of me is a dark, almost black mass of what looks like flesh with bones sticking out. My heart stops. The pain in my chest feels even worse. I'm about to die. I'm about to die in some horrible way, and I can't ever say goodbye to her, not even in my dreams. "What's the matter, love?" the creature asks, not even trying to sound remotely human anymore. I feel my teeth clench in defiance. If I'm going to die anyway, I'm dying on my own terms, whether you like it or not, I scream, running towards the closet. I hear a sound behind me, and the next thing I know, it's pulling at me while I'm reaching through the closet for the box. "Come now, I can look like her, sound like her. We can have everything you've been dreaming of all these years," it says, now in her voice again. "No, we can't," I yell, finally feeling the box beneath a pile of old clothes. "And why not?" it asks. "Because you're not her. It can't be anyone but her. I refuse," I yell at the top of my lungs. There is a bright light as I open the box, and that same ache from all those years ago consumes me. I feel myself drowning in the sorrow. It takes away what little air is left in my lungs, and I sink deeper and deeper into the eternal, painful love that I have for her. I don't feel the monster tearing at my flesh anymore, just the pain in my chest. When I open my eyes again, everything is dark. I see a faint glowing light nearby me and slightly around me. "You finally came," she says, smiling at me. "I see her now. She's here. We both are. I get it now. Everything is cold like before, and dark like before. But she's warm. Her hand in mine is warm, and she's glowing. We are the only light and the only warmth. I missed you," I say, smiling. "I missed you too," she says. We're still in that old house where we spent so much time together, but I can barely see anything. But I know it's that same room where we both died. We'll be here, together forever. After all, it's not as if ghosts have anywhere they need to be. Thank you for listening and watching. All links and references are in the description below.